Good morning, year one. Welcome to your English lesson today. Okay, before we begin, I would like you to name two characters from the story, The Lighthouse Keeper's Lunch. Now, we read this story yesterday, and I wonder if you can remember any of the characters from The Lighthouse Keeper's Lunch. Pause the video here. Have a go at that now. Okay, welcome back. I wonder if you got these ones. So the first character I thought of was, of course, Mr. Grinling. He's our main character, isn't he, really? And then we've got Hamish the cat. And we had the seagulls. And we had Mrs. Grinling as well. Did you get any of those? Fantastic if you did. Well done. Okay, then now today we're going to be having a look at adjectives and nouns, and we're going to be identifying them in some short pieces of text. Okay, so to be successful with this today, you need to recall what a noun is and what an adjective is. What is a noun? What is a noun? A noun is a thing or an object, or it can be a place and it can be a name. But what's an adjective? That's it. An adjective is a word that describes the nouns. Fantastic. And if you remember that, that's going to really help you to be successful today. So I'm going to read the story again to you, just so you can hear those words and you get to know this text really, really well. So I might just move my picture so I'm right up here in the corner, okay, while I read to you. And I did it this way today so you can actually see the pictures a little bit more clearly. Once there was a lighthouse keeper called Mr. Grinling. At night time, he lived in a small white cottage perched high on the cliffs, and in the daytime, he rode out to his lighthouse on the rocks to clean and polish the light. Mr. Grinling was the most industrious lighthouse keeper. Come rain or shine, he tended to his light. Sometimes at night, Mr. Grinling lay sleeping in his warm bed. The ships would toot to tell him that his light was shining brightly and clearly out to sea. Each morning, while Mr. Grinling polished the light, Mrs. Grinling worked in the kitchen of the little white cottage on the cliffs, concocting a delicious lunch for him. Once she had prepared the lunch, she packed it into a special basket, clipped it onto a wire that ran from the little white cottage to the lighthouse on the rocks. But one Monday, something terrible happened. Mrs. Grinling had prepared a particularly appetizing lunch, and she had made a mixed seafood salad, a lighthouse sandwich, a cold chicken garni, sausage and crisps, peach surprise, icy biscuits, drinks, and assortment of fruit. She put the lunch into the basket as usual and sent it down the wire. But the lunch did not arrive. It was spotted by 3 scavenging seagulls who set upon it and devoured it with some great gusto. "Clear off, you vermin!" shouted Mr. Grinling, but the seagulls took not the slightest notice of him. "Oh, this is an excellent peach surprise, boys. She's a great cook, Fred. Oh, scrumptious lunch, Tom." That evening, Mr. and Mrs. Grinling decided on a plan to baffle the seagulls. "Tomorrow I shall tie the napkin to the basket," said Mrs. Grinling. "Of course, my dear," agreed Mr. Grinling. "A sound plan." But unfortunately, it didn't work, did it? The seagulls got in and untied it. "They'll have to try harder than this to stop us, Bert," they said. On Tuesday evening, Mr. and Mrs. Grinling racked their brains for another plan. "They're a brazen lot, those seagulls," said Mrs. Grinling. "Brazen indeed," said Mr. Grinling. "What shall we do?" "Our cat does not appear to like seagulls," said Mrs. Grinling. "No, my dear," said Mr. Grinling. "Hamish is an accomplished seagull chaser." "Of course," she exclaimed. "Tomorrow Hamish can guard the lunch." "A most ingenious plan," agreed Mr. Grinling. Hamish did not think that this plan was ingenious at all. He spat and he hissed at Mr. Grinling as she secured him in the basket. There, Hamish," said Mrs. Grinling consolingly. "I'll have a tasty piece of herring waiting for you when you arrive home." Now, I've got the word here, ingenious. So, a vocabulary check. Now, the book quote said, a most ingenious plan. So, the word ingenious is an adjective, and that's what we're spotting today, isn't it? Now, the definition of ingenious is if it's talking about a person, it means they're very intelligent and skillful. But if we're talking about a thing, it means it's skillfully made or planned. Now, I could use it in this way. Inea made an ingenious junk model. Daniela had the most ingenious idea. Now, we have some synonyms which mean words that mean the same. So we have clever and cunning. So I could say, Inea made a clever junk model. Daniela had the most clever idea. Now, cunning. That reminds me of being a bit more sneaky, like cunning Mr. Fox. Inea made a cunning junk model. Daniela had the most cunning idea. I like those words. Oh, I've lost it there. There we go. Okay. Sadly, Flying did not agree with Hamish. His fur stood on end when the basket swayed, and his whiskers drooped as he peered down at the wet blue sea. He felt much too sick even to notice the seagulls, let alone scare them away from the lunch. Pretty kitty, like your lobster Moray? Oh, this food gets better every day, Fred. Aren't you going to chase us, Kitty? They're very mean, aren't they, these seagulls? Very mean indeed. Let me move my picture. I'm going to go to the middle. I'm going to go to the middle. Oh, lack a day, said Mr. Grinling sadly. Agreed Hamish pitifully. Why, look how sad he looks there, Hamish. Oh dear. On Wednesday evening, Mr. and Mrs. Grinling racked their brains again. What shall we do? Mr. Grinling said. Mrs. Grinling looked thoughtful. I have it! She exclaimed. Just the mixture for hungry seagulls. Oh, indeed, my dear, said Mr. Grinling. What do you have in mind? Oh, just you wait and see, said Mrs. Grinling. Just you wait and see. Oh. Mustard sandwiches. A truly superb plan, my dear. Truly superb. On Thursday morning, Mrs. Grinling carefully packed the mustard sandwiches and sent them off down the wire to the expectant seagulls. They certainly didn't like that. That definitely was an ingenious plan. Now, I've used the word here for our vocabulary check. Expectant. Expectant seagulls. Now, expectant is an adjective again. Now, the definition of expectant is thinking that something pleasant or exciting is going to happen. Mrs. Hand looked at the children's expectant faces as she handed out the sweets. Now, this has no synonyms. So we can use that word another time as well. On Friday, Mrs. Grinling repeated the mustard mixture. Oh, all right, boys, let's go and have lunch somewhere else. It's the same as yesterday, Fred, they said. So, on Saturday, up in the little white cottage on the cliffs, a jubilant Mrs. Grinling put away the mustard pot before she prepared the scrumptious lunch for Mr. Grinling. While he waited for his lunch down at the lighthouse on the rocks, Mr. Grinling sang snatches of old sea shanties. Do you remember a sea shanty was a song that fishermen used to sing as he surveyed the coastline through his telescope. And this is what he saw. Oh, no mustard in this lot, Tom. We'll fly back again here tomorrow for lunch, boys. Oh, this is a delicious chocolate eclair. Oh, well, such is life, mused Mr. Grinling as he sat down to enjoy a leisurely lunch in the warm sunshine. I do like the book a lot. It's one of my favourite stories, I think. Now, your activity today is to spot the nouns and adjectives in the paragraphs below. So we're going to work on this one first together, okay? And then you have some that you're going to do, and then we're going to check together, and then one you're going to do independently. So I'm going to read this one to you here. Mrs. Grinling worked in the kitchen of the little white cottage on the cliffs, concocting a delicious lunch for him. So first, let's spot those nouns. Now remember, a noun is a thing or a place or a person. Here we go. Oh, and I've realised I forgot the first one, Mrs. Grinling. Oh, dear me. I forgot to underline Mrs. Grinling. I'm so sorry. Well, we have the kitchen as well, because that is a place, isn't it? And we have cottage, because the cottage is the place where they live. And the cliffs is the place where they live in their cottage. And the word lunch. Lunch is also a noun, isn't it? Now we've highlighted the nouns. Let's find those adjectives. Now remember, the adjectives describe the nouns. So now we've highlighted our nouns, it might be easier to find those adjectives. So here I've got little and white. The little white cottage. Those two words, little and white, describe my cottage, the cottage where Mr. and Mrs. Grinling live. Little white cottage on the cliffs, concocting. Oh, she was making, wasn't she? She was concocting, she was making delicious, tasty, mouth-watering, scrumptious lunch. All those words describe Mr. Grinling's lunch. Now, I have another one for you here. So the first paragraph here, I would like you now to have a go, and then we're going to go through it together. So pause the video here and have a go at this one now. Okay, welcome back. So shall we see? Let's go nouns first. So we have the noun lunch. Oh, I didn't read it to you. I'm so sorry. I'll read it now. But the scrumptious lunch did not arrive. It was spotted by 3 large seagulls, who set upon it and attacked the brown straw picnic basket. So the first noun that we have there is lunch. Then my second noun that I have there is the noun seagulls. Okay, so remember as well, when we have a noun, we might have an adjective describing that noun. So I can see 2 adjectives there. And then we have the picnic and basket. The picnic basket, that is also a thing, isn't it? That's what they put the lunch into. So that's my noun. Did you get those ones? Brilliant if you did. Okay, now let's find those adjectives. Come on then, detectives. Let's have a look for them. So, there we go. Scrumptious. Scrumptious describes the lunch. Scrumptious lunch. Lunch is our noun. Scrumptious is our adjective. Large. 3 large seagulls. It could be 3 small seagulls, 3 brown seagulls, 3 angry seagulls. And that word there, large, describes our seagulls. And then we have 2 more, who set upon it and attacked the brown straw picnic basket. Picnic basket is my noun. What words there describe my picnic basket? Well, it would be brown and it would be straw. Did you get those? Fantastic if you did. Okay, now it's your turn. You have this one on your sheet to do by yourself now. So I'd like you to have a go and think about, what are the nouns? What are the adjectives? Now you'll need to use your colours, and it does state that, and I forgot to say that earlier, on your sheet, the blue and the red to underline them. Now I'm really looking forward to seeing your work, year 1, and I really hope that you can spot those adjectives and those nouns. You take care now, and I will see you very soon. Bye!